It's done already. You know, I think he's in great shape. All we gotta do is just maintain it. I think the most important thing is to rest, lose those last responsibilities last week, and prepare ourselves for the fight.
Chino, ¿cómo estás? Bien, bien, flaquito, ya estabas, viste. No sé cuándo, no me pesé ahora.
Pero se mira bien.
Claro, 5 de la mañana.
No falta reposo, ¿no? Una semanita.
Ya está listo.
Ya estamos.
Se ve bien.
Es más, él es el mismo que peleó con Canelo, que peleó con Oscar, que peleó con Guerrero. Él es el mismo. Él es el mismo. Nosotros no somos los mismos.
Exacto. Aparte, perdieron todo, porque no puede perder.
¿Verdad?
Nadie es invencible en este mundo, nadie.
Me siento bien y sé que le puedo llegar a nada. Estuve cerca el otro día.
No estoy cerca, Chino. Para que al rato Chino va a ser el que va a decir yo quiero tanto, yo gano tanto, quiero estos guantes. El Chino, ahora yo quiero estos guantes. Yo quiero, ¿verdad? Pero ganando esta.
Sí.
Mira.
After lunch, with El Chino in great spirits, the fighter insists on treating the whole crew to a day at the races.
Me dan cuenta pues estamos que salgo primero.
I'm just waiting for people to join. Give me like a couple minutes, but now I'm going to be live for another 5 minutes.
Right.
Puts things in perspective, like as to why he is where he is. I think the most important thing that I've seen is that he's self-motivated. Doesn't need anybody to tell him what to do, when to do, how to do. He does it, and he does it 100%.
It doesn't take long for the news of Ariza's whereabouts to hit Oxnard. A once trusted colleague is now seen as a treasonous foe.
Oh, he's still in my house, and then, you know, he still has the keys to my house. I'm gonna have to change the locks now.
Yeah, I seen that. I didn't know about it, and then they brought it to my attention, and I looked on the Instagram, like, what the?
It doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me, but, you know, that's a scandalous move. Don't do that. Especially when you're still living here. And you live in Robert's house, still living here, and you're gonna go do shit like that? It's scandalous. I think that's a scandalous move. But at the end of the day, Mayweather, he's the best mind game.
That only shows us, you know, Mayweather's spirit. Because come on, 2 weeks before the fight, you bring in what's the reason they're gonna do? Show them videos of ours? Because they're probably showing them every sparring that we had. So what? It's like, come on, that's why this fight is different. It's different. It's different.
It's just like I said, Mayweather's the biggest mind of the ball.
He's chosen the wrong people. Yeah. You know, so that's gonna be crying to Kenny Brady. So
is Kenny Brady the referee here?
Yeah. This time, yeah.
Kenny Brady.
Kenny va a ser Kenny Brady, no Moreno. Ya le trabajó con Pato.
But Kenny Brady's gonna be like, no, break.
Cada vez que te rimes. Oh.
With just days remaining before Maidana departs for Las Vegas, Robert Garcia is fine-tuning the plan of attack. There will be a change for the rematch. This time, his father Eduardo will be joining him in the corner.
Muy bien. Tú sabes lo que tienes que estar pensando bien, lo que se sientas hacer mejor. También es muy importante. Yo pienso que no tienes que si tienes una decisión, tú tienes que hacer lo que
There you go, nice.
Como sé que ir poderoso de los manos. Sus locos que sean sólidos, fuertes. El cabo no pega tan fuerte. Él no está tan... pegará, pero no igual que tú. Yo no creo que pega más que tú.
Sí, no, si te agarro con la mano, te agarro ahorita y te entiendo. Te estás haciendo copicho.
Salsa. Uno by one. Bye. There you go.
If a cornerman is like family, then Maidana is in good hands. Eduardo's been training champions since the 90s, when Robert and Fernando Vargas first won the
It's killing me.
It's experience that could prove invaluable on Fight Night.
Así, ahorita no entendiste muy bien lo que te dije. Cuando estamos así pegados con él y le haces fallar este golpe, no te mueves nomás ese porque quedas listo para la derecha. tienes que mover 2 veces por lo menos. Ahí estás. Porque está bien, el estilo de él es veneno para que.
Maidana's
I don't know where everybody
strategy
at.
was a collaborative effort. For Mayweather, however, only one voice.
Alright, so this is how it works. It is exactly 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to sit up here for about an hour or so, or at least till my side piece gets here. And we're going to talk about some boxing. So September the 12th, 2014, I'm T Street Controversy, and this is T Street Controversy Live, and I cover boxing. Tomorrow, I predicted that Floyd Money Mayweather would take a loss to Marcos El Chino. I got a burp, and this is rude. Maidana. I shoot all my shows live and uncut. We are live here streaming on multiple platforms. You can find my videos right below. There's a website called Real Combat Media. I have made great advancements, and this is me bullshitting around so some people get here. I've made great advancements as far as becoming a reporter, becoming official. Because before I was just a guy who did videos. I always knew I could get interviews. I always knew I could do it, but I had to wait until some things were taken care of. So I went for the gusto. I wanted my first interview to be Danny Garcia, but then the chance of a lifetime came, and I walked right up to Oscar De La Hoya, and I thought in my head, like, damn, I'm sorry about the dildos up the asshole. But that's what it's about. In boxing, we need people to tell it like it is. It's what pisses me off about the sport. We need people not to sugarcoat shit. Somehow, the stars aligned, and I was able to score an interview with my idol boxer inside of the ring. That's how I roll, getting shit done. Because, see, it's about making sure now that I'm 31 years old. I turned 31 last week. No, actually 2 weeks ago. And it's time to make sure now that people understand I'm not just doing this shit for fun. What we're going to talk about here today is we're going to talk about my logic and how I believe Floyd Money Mayweather is going to lose to Marcos El Chino Maidana. That's how they say his name. I feel that Floyd Mayweather is going to do that moving that you said he's going to do. He's going to do that moving. He's going to try to do all that slipping and ducking with his 37-year-old, almost 38-year-old body, and he's going to get hit with some wild Marcos El Chino Maidana, 35-4 with 31 knockout shit. Is that not easy to understand? People are acting like, what I've noticed is people are acting like nobody of Floyd Mayweather's stature or status ever lost. For crying out loud, 81 and no Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Senior. I'm sorry I said that. Junior is 81 and 0 in blowing 81 days of tree, straight back to back. So when you look at the fact that it will be something that happens in history of boxing if Floyd Mayweather loses, it will be something that's not new to people or boxers from the 1940s and 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s. People thought Sugar Ray Leonard would never lose. When Roberto Duran came along, they thought it was over for him. Even him, in his mind, he was crushed. But he's no Floyd Money Mayweather. TBE. It happens. And yet, in this generation, this social media generation, with so much information, and social media is a powerful tool. So in this social media generation, Floyd Mayweather has told us he's this, he's that. And he is. And he is. See, I don't doubt Mayweather's skills. I never, ever doubted his skills. But see, that's what naysayers are going to say. Give me 1 minute. That's what naysayers are going to say. They're going to say, you just want to see Floyd fail. That is not the truth. That is not the truth. I thought about yesterday, right now it's September the 12th. Actually, it was actually today at about 1 a.m. Right now it's 10:05 Eastern Standard Time. I thought about yesterday that what if Floyd Mayweather really does lose? I thought, like, my God, I would be hurt. Because I would start to think about how would his ego take a hit in this social media age? How would it be where Floyd Mayweather will be the subject of ridicule? Remember what happened to Adrian Broner when he lost to Marcos Maidana? He got slaughtered. Look at poor old Gamboa. They had him skydiving. They had him jumping off of a ladder on top of Hogan. It was bad. So what happened? Can you imagine? I'm trying to add people now. I don't know why people can't join. But what I've noticed is that when you look at Floyd Mayweather, he's gifted. He's gifted. But he has made some contradictory statements over the last few days. For example, today, I wish I could play it, and I'll play the interview a little later on. But people were saying, and he even said he laid on the ropes on purpose. He was doing that for the fans. Before, at the final press conference of Mayweather versus Maidana 1, Floyd Mayweather said he was going to fight a different fight, and it was going to be a Mayweather we've never seen before. But you have to ask yourself, okay, we understand what you're saying, Floyd, but realistically, did he think Marcos Maidana was going to come out like that? Maybe Floyd thought that, okay, well, every other round, or maybe I'll lay on the ropes for maybe about 30 seconds or so. But what I'm trying to say to you is, the style of Marcos Maidana, the ring generalship of Marcos Maidana, put Floyd Mayweather on the ropes. It's not like Floyd was going on the ropes and like, Floyd's punch output was low while he was on the ropes. Why? It's because you're fighting an awkward fighter like Marcos Maidana. You got to make sure your defense is sharp. It was at one point in time, it looked like Floyd was hurt, but Marcos Maidana hit him with this. So what I'm getting at here, ladies and gentlemen, is that it can happen. People looking at me and trying to vilify me because I'm a black man and I'm talking about the flaws of Floyd Mayweather. It's not supposed to happen. I understand the logic. Sometimes I play off of it. But what I'm saying to you is, you allow it to be that way. Akun, Uncle Tom, go ahead. just like tomorrow, 24 hours from now, Floyd Mayweather will be stepping into the ring. In 26 hours, I'm going to be on here live doing the same thing I'm doing right now. Because win or loss, I'm going to be here. So I look at it like this. Let's just think. Now let's just think outside the box. And let's just say, let's role play. Let's just say Floyd Mayweather loses. We're going to talk about two scenarios. Floyd Mayweather losing a decision. Floyd Mayweather losing by knockout. And we're going to say three. We're going to say Floyd Mayweather losing by robbery. Now, I'm going to start with the robbery first. When it comes to robberies in boxing, it's usually high stakes involved. It's either a potential title shot, money, boxing politics, of course. But what I'm saying is that if Floyd Mayweather was robbed and Marcos Maidana won that way, that will warrant a third fight, right? Because Floyd Mayweather, after this fight, has 2 fights left on his Showtime deal. He's in a contract, whatever you say. Remember, people forget, this time last year, this time in May, a day before the fight, Floyd Mayweather was talking about retiring because he was so hurt from Miss Jackson. He wanted to give it up. So what I'm saying is, if he gets robbed, it's most likely it's going to be a third fight. But what does that do? That means that Mayweather has Maidana problems, right? Right? Sometimes, and I said this in multiple videos, sometimes fate comes down and smacks the shit out of you. And when you look at, listen to me, when you look at, hypothetically, the bullets he has dodged throughout his career while remaining undefeated, you think to yourself, how long can this go on? Then you look at the fact of factoring in his age, and you factoring in his last fight, and you factor in with the Saul Canelo Alvarez fight, they tried to rob him, and then skip Robert Guerrero, factor in the way he looked in with Miguel Cotto. Two of those fights, he didn't look so well. He may have won, but in his last 4 fights, he don't look so good. So what I'm saying is that statistically, and if you look at the numbers, and if you watch the fights, not just coming from my mouth, but watch his last 4 fights. And if you want, throw in the Victor Ortiz cheap shot. This is not Mayweather from 2007. That is all shit you can go out there and do on your own. In the last 48 hours, I've watched Floyd Mayweather versus Oscar De La Hoya. At that time, it was Oscar De La Hoya versus Floyd Mayweather. I've watched Floyd Mayweather versus Miguel Cotto. I've watched Floyd Mayweather knock Ricky Hatton senseless. I've watched Mayweather versus Victor Ortiz. Mayweather versus Robert Guerrero, and I fell asleep during that. Watched Mayweather versus Alvarez. I'm thinking, did Alvarez get paid off, man? What was going on with that fight? And then I watched the Marcos Maidana fight, and I saw that Floyd is slowing down. And what I'm saying is he had to sacrifice that movement for his footwork. I don't think he can do both anymore. Not against maybe a 34-year-old, 33-year-old, maybe even a 35-year-old Floyd could display the foot movement and head movement to dodge all that wild shit, Marcos Maidana. But In this case, I think it was either one or the other. It's either you stay away from him in boxing, but you can only do that for so long. My bad, all access is on. Or you have to use your head movement and stay stationary and do all that work. That was a lot of fucking work. I'm talking about, I've always had respect for Floyd. But when it comes to dodging all those punches from everywhere, people are not looking at the fact that those punches was coming from everywhere. I'm talking about awkward hooks and uppercuts and everywhere. And then if you look at the photos and watch the fight in HD, you see that Floyd knows exactly what he's doing because he's looking at Maidana and just all those reflexes. But what I'm saying is that he's saying, and you're saying, he's going to move. Oh, he's going to move and he's going to get hit with some shit. That's just my prediction. That's just my prediction and my prediction alone. But you can say, this guy don't have no credibility. I urge you, even if you don't go back and watch my older videos, I believe it was 16 videos I did on Mayweather versus Maidana, the first fight. Even if you just read the titles, all you got to do is type in Mayweather versus Maidana vs. T Street, April, May. Then you'll see all my videos. And even if you look at the titles, I was telling you how it was going to happen in the fight. And it's not because I'm boasting. It's because, oh, that's the way Marcos Maidana fight. And styles make fights. Floyd never seen nobody like Marcos Maidana. Not this Floyd, not no Victor Ortiz. I mean, I look at it like this. Victor Ortiz was somewhat close to what Marcos Maidana was doing, but Victor Ortiz was a dickhead, don't got no heart. Miguel Cotto was more focused on trying to box Floyd and win on the cards instead of when he had Floyd in trouble going for the kill. Cotto, in my opinion, was being too conservative. He was effective in a loss for a good loss, but he was too conservative. Ricky Hatton just didn't have enough power, and Ricky Hatton had no defense whatsoever. Robert Guerrero is not the same Robert Guerrero that he used to be, and I was drunk when I picked him to win because I was depending on the 130, 135, 126 Robert Guerrero that had the 100, close to 100 jabs per round. But now this Robert Guerrero, I don't know who this Robert Guerrero is. This Robert Guerrero is some type of brawler, wrestler, crossfitter. I don't know. You know, but the Robert Guerrero I picked to beat Floyd was supposed to be the boxer. I picked Floyd Mayweather to defeat Saul Canelo Alvarez. I picked Floyd Mayweather to defeat Marcos Maidana in a close, dirty fight. And now I think it's over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little bit of All Access, let you hear the shit. And then I'm going to try to invite some people. By the way, subscribe. Like I said, I'm going to be here right after the fight. So, hold on. There we go.
We got a lot in common. Speaking to the microphone. Hello. A lot. Okay. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. I know my Rolls Royce been around gas. Oh, we having fun, baby. We ain't even got started yet. Hey, come on, boy. Yeah, come on. Yeah. 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 Let's go. Come on. Let's go.
I used to party every night, go to the strip club.
Look at it.
But I used to always dedicate myself to my craft.
Don't tell me that boy quit. I'm so tough. I'm so tough. You know, I do my run, then I ride. Gotta ride like I'm Floyd.
All right, I sent invitations. You got to go to my Facebook and you got to click on the link. I can't tell you no better than that.
While Floyd is nocturnal, Marcos Maidana is an early riser. His diet is being managed by a personal chef, part of an effort to improve his conditioning for the rematch.
Bueno.
Muy bueno.
Egg whites for breakfast, a weighted vest for the morning run.
Vamos. Todo miércoles, sprinte, mueve las piernas.
This time, everything is exactly calibrated for Marcos Maidana. With a new strength and conditioning regimen, Maidana's camp believes the difference will be in the details.
Vamos con todo, Tiempo.
In the first fight, I think we made the mistake of bringing him in too heavy. His punches weren't as fast, weren't as fresh. I think Maidana slowed down a lot. That's why Raúl is here.
Que siempre le he dicho, prefiero que se me cante aquí en la pelea. Sale, Marcos, sale. Fuerte, duro.
He comentado mucho con él. El ritmo que tú tomaste en la primera pelea fue muy bueno, 5-0 rounds. Hay que mantenerlo, los 12 rounds. Esa es la diferencia en las grandes peleas y los grandes campeones.
Mueve las piernas. Tiene que mover las piernas. Duro. Tiempo. Muy bien. Caminamos.
I'm checking my Facebook. I'm trying to work on the link so you can join.
Si es que aguanta. Va a ser muy difícil que aguante esa presión. Vamos a tornar.
Oxnard, California. It's a boxing town. But how it got that way is a family suffered. If Robert Garcia was a local hero, the man who made him that was his father. A former who trained his sons to be fighters, Eduardo Garcia has been a familiar face of late, helping Maidana get ready for the rematch.
The first thing my dad did when he got home after work was pick me up to go to the gym. For him, it was boxing. But if it would have been like that, I wouldn't have become a world champion. And I wouldn't have what I have right now.
The House of Garcia has dedicated itself to one purpose: defeating Floyd Mayweather. While Robert was Eduardo's first champion, son Mikey, the youngest, is his most recent. Today in sparring, the undefeated super featherweight will play the villain's role.
All right, listen. I sent invites. I sent invites to like 4 people, and what I'm gonna do is hold on, let me get rid of this fucking Facebook. And what I'm gonna do is got some people. Yeah, we got some people showing up. So listen, let me get back to what I was saying. Did you ever think about the implications Floyd Mayweather taking a defeat, whether it's by robbery, knockout, or whatever? Did you think about the implications of what that would have on the Manny Pacquiao fight? The fight really wouldn't be shit. Manny Pacquiao took a knockout, but then the fight's still profitable. But if Mayweather takes a knockout because of the ego, I don't know anymore. What if this is like Roy Jones? What up? What if this is like Roy Jones versus Antonio Tarver, the second fight? What's going to be your excuse now? Like literally, when it comes to the dirty fight in the Maidana, and people, and you'd be surprised how many people thinking or saying that Marcos Maidana is going to get disqualified. I'm going to say yes. Marcos Maidana can get a point taken. Yes. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, yes, he can get a point taken. You know, but disqualification in the fight of his dreams, I don't know. One thing I didn't like is at the final press conference, him and Floyd shook hands. I don't like that. When did Floyd ever shake anybody's hands at the final press conference? You know, I don't care if he wasn't talking shit. When did he ever shake anybody's hands? So, you know, that was kind of troubling to me. But also the fact that why can't Marcos Maidana really wear his gloves? If they're approved by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, then why can't he wear his gloves? That makes me think he took some extra money. Now, as it stands right now, Marcos Maidana is supposed to be making $3 million for this fight. That's a 100% increase over what he made in his last fight. 1.5 million plus pay-per-view buys. But if you don't know, Floyd Mayweather didn't get no pay-per-view money, because the pay-per-view didn't do over the 1 million. But whatever, that's all speculation. You know why? Because Steven Espinoza never released the numbers. But I'm going to say, how can I put it? A large majority of people know inside of boxing and outside of boxing that the pay-per-view did not do over 900,000 bucks. So when you start doing the math of the ticket sales, how many seats are in the MGM Grand, and you calculate, okay, $80 a pop for the pay-per-views, 854,000 if that's the number, most expensive card of all time. You have to think it wasn't no money for no pay-per-view buy, so therefore Marcos Maidana got $1.5 million. Floyd Mayweather got his $32 million. So if you look at the fact that 2 out of 3 pay-per-views did not do over $1 million, Robert Guerrero and Marcos Maidana the first one, you have to look at Saul Canelo Alvarez and say, okay, well, with those 3 combined, he's doing an average of over 1 million. And then Showtime Boxing, I'm sure, has gained so many subscriptions off of boxing alone, not just Floyd Mayweather. So I think of it like this: if Showtime loses money off of the pay-per-views, they get those subscriptions, that are somewhat priceless, that can last, for a lifetime. I know my grandparents, they've had Showtime probably since I've been alive. You know how much money that is? 31 years of how much, however it costs. I know right now that shit's like $25 a month or some old crazy. But when you look at it, if the pay-per-views lose money, they still got those subscriptions to fall back on. But then what happens when Mayweather retires? You got nobody to realistically replace him right now in pay-per-view buys. And I'm talking about in the Al Heyman stable, nobody. I'm talking about Mayweather retiring at the end of next year. There's nobody that can jump in there and just start selling a million pay-per-views. Not right now. You got to be able to talk some shit. There's nobody as charismatic as him. And charisma can be even if you love or you hate somebody. That there's so many reasons that you can be charismatic. I wasn't even supposed to be doing this, man. And I said, fuck it. I ain't doing nothing. Not at least until I get a pop. See, I'm waiting for people to join.
Oh, yep.
And it's just random. But what I'm going to say is this. If Mayweather let's just say Mayweather gets a knockdown. Let's say Mayweather wins the fight, but he gets knocked down. Even that is going to be damaging to the career of Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, he'll be able to say, well, all great fighters get knocked down. I'm still undefeated. But even if he gets knocked down, people are going to be like, oh, he really is slipping. Now, another aspect, what if he loses the fight? Like, realistically, what if he loses the fight by knockout? Oh, my God, it's over. See, Manny Pacquiao can lose by knockout. Floyd can't lose by no knockout. It's over. It's over. And all I'm asking you to do is, when you go to bed at night with your Like Me McQueen blanket, and you tickle me Elmo, I want you to think of what if Floyd Mayweather loses. Because people never talk about it or never think about it. Like, it just can't happen. Like I said, I'll explain again. If you look at his last 5 fights, 4 of those 2 fights, he's 2-2. As far as complete shutouts. Now, what I think is this. Listen, I'm starting to think that Las Vegas is getting sick of him. I got a guy out in Las Vegas right now, a friend of mine, and he talked to a cabbie. I posted it on my page, and Floyd Mayweather may have adopted Las Vegas as his own, but they haven't adopted him. They adopted his money. But when you hear about him going to the casinos or the restaurants or the hotels, you always hear about the money team being dickheads. And I'm just saying, I'm just reporting back. But see, I don't live in Las Vegas, so I don't know. I would love to be able to see that shit every day and be like, look at this shit. and do videos. Look, see, I told you this fucking guy. But to get back to the hate, people say, T Street, you hate Mayweather. You want him to lose. You're a hater. I'm very critical when it comes to boxing. I'll tell you this. For some reason, people don't remember when I had Timothy Bradley beat Manny Pacquiao in the second fight. I was praying for Pacquiao to win. You know, because I was like, yo, Pacquiao lose this fight, it's over. And I'm man enough to admit it. But people forget that I knew Pacquiao in my mind was the underdog going into that second fight with Bradley. People forget that, though. People forget that stuff. People forget that I've just been covering not only Floyd Mayweather. People say you only get your views off of Mayweather. People forget that I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live, and I cover every single major fight live. So just like next week, I'm going to be here covering George Groves versus Chris Ross. Paul Smith, Arthur Abraham, I believe that's next week. And a host of other fights. Just like on Mayhem Day, September the 13th, 2014, I'm going to be covering Scott Quigg. I'm going to be covering Anthony Joshua. The whole Mayweather card. John Molina, Humberto Soto, Alfredo Angulo. I forgot his first name, De La Rosa. His last name, De La Rosa? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Nikki Bay, Miguel Vasquez was going to be a good fight. Leo Santa Cruz versus Mayo Roman, and then Mayweather versus Maidana, because that's what I do. So when it comes to tomorrow, I paid, and I posted a video on my Facebook, I paid my $74.99 plus tax. He's asking us of $75 US dollars, and he doesn't care about us.
Man, you should have done on stream.
Yeah, I see. Well, what I do, I can't stream. You know, I know. You know, trust me, I know it can be done. But it's like, there's no point. I'd be a hypocrite. Like, what? I mean, I feel like this. I pay for the events, so even if I don't go to the fights, I can say, listen, I pay for the fucking events. I'm a fan. You can't tell me shit. You know, especially when I'm coming up off of $75. You know, when I hear a boxer say, fans don't pay my bills, they won't pay my bills when I retire. We're paying your bills now. Where are they coming from?
True.
Those are tickets that are being sold. Those are pay-per-views that are being sold, coming out of people's pockets. My cable bill is high as shit. Trust me, I'm going to get up here and talk some trash because I got a right to. It was free speech. You got Leonard Ellerby going on, and this was at the final press conference, saying, it's got to stop. All the hate on Floyd Mayweather has got to stop. Leave him alone. Leave Floyd Mayweather alone.
Shit.
People act like Floyd is not doing dumbass shit. Just like, oh dear God, I gotta record it. Hold on, we're about to listen. I'm here live, and listen. When I say we about to listen to some exclusive ass shit that's on TV live right now. If you know anything about Floyd Mayweather, and you're a reporter, and you want some real hardcore news action, ask Floyd Mayweather about domestic abuse. Lord knows. Let me record this shit. Right now, it's a show on CNN called Unguarded with Rachel Nichols. And on tonight's CNN episode, just the day before, if you're watching this video right now, turn to CNN. So the day before the fight, Rachel Nichols, she used to work for ESPN, you know, kind of sexy, but she got the funny nose. She is going to be asking Floyd Mayweather questions about domestic abuse. Now, I'm going to be on here, and as soon as I see him get on the camera, I'm going to play the interview. So until then, I'm going to say this. Why would anybody in Mayweather team let him answer anything about domestic abuse? He started fumbling his words and saying dumb shit. It's like, wait a minute. You know that, or allegedly, that he be smacking up women. Now, me, myself, my mother was a product of domestic abuse. So what I'm saying is I'm not the only household. There are many other households. But what you get is you get a pattern of some people who have that in their households. They grow up doing that shit. So whereas then there's the other group of people that despise people who hit on women. And it's like, what? Now, when it comes to you act like a man, I'm going to treat you like a man, this may be taken the wrong way, but if a chick got a gun pointed at me, or if she's got a knife, I'm going to pepper spray the shit out that bitch. Because this is what you should do. Pepper spray is legal. And trust me, I carry my pepper spray. Because, see, what you do is, me, I'm 6'2", 230 pounds. So me, being a big-ass black motherfucker, when it comes to a cop, let a chick call the cops, they going to tackle the shit out of me. You know, regardless of what I say. Come on, this is real. They're going to tackle the shit out of me and listen to everything her little sweet face has to say. So what I do is listen. That's what you do. When a chick start talking about, yeah, you fucking pussy, you ain't going to do shit. I just say, please, no, get off my back. You know, you got to scream real loud, like you're in distress. And it's worked. Perfectly legal, perfectly safe. And I ask you this, like, what else are you going to do? Have you ever tried pepper spraying a woman? You know, or a spiteful, angry woman wielding a knife? Have you ever tried pepper spraying it? What happens if you don't pepper spray it? Your nut ass gets stabbed, and then she gets you locked up and say you tried to stab her. Sorry, fellas. I'm ahead of the curve. But I'm dead ass serious. I wish I could get up right now, go downstairs and get it. But yo, I carry pepper spray. I don't fuck around, yo. Not fucking around.
That shit crazy because I never seen a dude, you know, pepper spray a female.
Well, trust me. Listen, honestly, it's perfectly legal and it works. It works. Like I said, it's safe. I mean, she's going to be in a fucking shitload of pain because women are not used to being pepper sprayed by men. They don't expect it. They're used to being pepper sprayed by other women. So when you do it, they not only be in shock, but they be messed up because they blonde and they know, oh, we got this big ass black nigga circling around me and I can't see him. And it's the thought. It's the thought of the threat. You know, it's the thought of the threat. But at that point in time, I'm out of Dodge. Why you keep texting me? Did you get my birth? No. I didn't do that. Anyway, I don't know where everybody at tonight. I didn't invite people. And then, did you get a like an invite or how did you show up?
Yeah, how I got on is
go to your Google Plus page, y'all. If you want to get on, you gotta have a Google. If you gotta go into Google Plus. My Google name is tstreetcontroversy@gmail.
Yeah.
You know, simple as that. If you want to join, I'm going to be on here for another, I say probably half an hour, depending on how things go.
All right, everybody, go on your Google Plus page or check your email, Gmail.
Yeah. Check your email. Check your email. Dude, you go fucking around and spray your own eyes with pepper spray. No, listen. You don't pray. You don't. Listen, you don't. Like when you pepper spray somebody. How can I put it? I've been pepper sprayed twice. One by a cop and one by a female. But when you pepper spray somebody, what you do is you know, because if that shit get on your hands or on your skin, that shit may burning. You gotta have on some shades, or what you do is you make sure you tie a t-shirt around your face. You know, tie your t-shirt around your face and try to look out the little hole at the top of your t-shirt. And then you just get the hell out of the job. You gotta spray from a distance, and you gotta run. You know, because that shit be in the air. She will be like, she gonna start freaking out, choking and shit. But that's your way. That's your time to get away. And like I said, it's perfectly legal and safe. And I'm sorry, females are going to take this the wrong way, but I gotta protect myself. Gotta protect myself. And I'll probably record that shit because I was like, look, officer, I had to subdue her with my chemical pepper spray. As you can see, she was the aggressor. She's coming towards me. I had to protect myself. But see, in Floyd's case, you ask yourself, just like Donald Sterling, when people ask, you know, like, okay, well, why the racism shit, it could keep coming up. So when it comes to the Floyd allegedly putting his hands on women, it's like, why do it keep coming up? You know,
Yeah,
and then, you know, I'm waiting for him to come on. Let me see if he's coming on. Oh, this is live. Turn to CNN. Turn to CNN.
Oh shit.
But while Mayweather,
First time this is on.
There's a much darker side to
Let me get
his
on the
story.
phone. Listen.
He's had a string of domestic violence, arrests, citations, and in 2010, an incident that landed him in prison. According to the police report, Mayweather grabbed the mother of his 3 children by the hair, punched her in the head several times, and threatened to kill her. This was all in front of his kids, who he also threatened to kill, before one of them called the police. But after Mayweather pled to a reduced charge and spent only 2 months in jail, he wasn't ostracized the way Ray Rice has been this week. The Nevada Boxing Commission didn't suspend him the way the NFL suspended Rice. Instead, Mayweather has been allowed to continue to churn out paydays, and this despite even more women coming forward with stories of abuse in the time since. Now, given all this, you'd think Mayweather would want to keep a low profile heading into his fight this weekend, a fight that's expected to earn him $30 million. But instead, what did Mayweather do? He commented on Rice, telling a group of reporters that the NFL, quote, overreacted in indefinitely suspending Rice. Mayweather added, quote, I think there's worse things that go on in other people's households. It's just not caught on video, if that's safe to say. Well, the next day, Mayweather backtracked from those comments, but when I had the chance to speak to the boxer, I asked him about Rice and his own brutal history. Take a listen.
You recently made some comments on Ray Rice and how the NFL should have stuck to its original 2-game punishment. Then you backed off those comments.
Listen, I'm opening the chat.
For us, what you really think?
Well, I spoke about that yesterday, so, you know, I'll leave that in the past and try to focus on my future. I try to focus on my fight Saturday, which is Maidana.
Well, okay, but you are someone with a history of domestic violence yourself. You've even been to jail for it. Why should fans root for you with this kind of history?
Everything has been allegations. Nothing has been proven, so, you know, that's life.
Well, I mean, the incident you went to jail for, the mother of your 3 children did show some bruising, a concussion when she went to the hospital. It was your own kids who called the police, gave them a detailed description of the abuse. There's been documentation.
Mm-hmm. Once again, no pictures, just hearsay and allegations. And I signed a plea bargain, so once again, not true.
But the website Deadspin recently detailed 7 separate physical assaults on 5 different women that resulted in arrest or citation. I mean, are we really supposed to believe all these women are lying, including the incidents when there were witnesses, like your own kids?
Well, everybody actually, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. You know, when it's all said and done, only God can judge me.
All right, well, we've seen this week with the outcry against the NFL, the public wants the domestic abuse problem in this country addressed. Would you consider donating any of the more than $30 million you're going to make this weekend to an organization that educates and prevents against abuse?
What?
What I will do is make sure that millions and millions of dollars be saved for my children, because my children are who I love, and that's what I care about.
Yeah, the denial there with Mayweather is truly amazing, right? And it gives an interesting window into the way an abuser can walk around maintaining over and over again that nothing is wrong, despite hard evidence to the contrary. So I gotta tell you, not as amazing to me as the denial of the public that supports him. I am curious how many of those who shuddered at the video of Ray Rice in that elevator this week are also planning on plunking down their $70 tomorrow for Mayweather's pay-per-view fight. It is worth considering before you pull out your credit card. All right, after this break, yet
Wow, why did she do that to him?
Wow.
Why was he even alive? Why was Thank You Al Heyman? Why did Thank You Al Heyman advise him to do that interview? And I'm telling you right now, that was live on CNN. I just DVR'd that shit because I'm going to use that shit in another video. But it's like, okay, if you did not just hear, I don't even know how to start on that. I don't even know how to start on that. It's like people say, he never put his hands on that bitch. And I'm just quoting. Man, women always trying to bring him down. Now, you look at Miss Jackson shit. This was damning. This just helped Miss Jackson so much. Miss Jackson gonna get her bread. And you know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be quietly. It's gonna be settled out of court. Miss Jackson's gonna get her bread because this is outrageous. Now, just like those animal rights people, the WWF, the World Wildlife Foundation, not World Wrestling Federation, women, scorned women that have been beat up before, they ride together. So now you're going to have a whole bunch of women at home with their new husbands because they got abused before in the past, and they're going to be like, you're going to pay for a Floyd Mayweather fight? Don't you know he you know, you're going to have, there's so much bad publicity. And then he does that interview before the fight, after the Ray Rice comments. And then you got Rachel Nichols just sitting there just asking him, and it's like, well, you know, how can you keep being in denial? It's like, what? He didn't even know what to say. Then she's like, well, are you going to donate some of that $30 million, nigga? Well, that's how I felt. Because the way she asked him, it was just like you know, he not giving up none of that money. He said he not giving up money to Africa. He not giving no money to nobody because why? Fans don't pay his bills. Ladies and gentlemen, fans don't pay his bills. I look at it like this. TMT, hashtag TBE, Floyd Money Mayweather. As I once again said, it's like, how long can this go on, ladies and gentlemen? How long can this go on? Do you see how it just seems like the odds are just stacking up against him? It's so much shit going on. Now let me run it back down to you. You got Alex Ariza in camp. You got 50 Cent attacking him. You got T.I. You got Tiny. You got Nelly. You got Miss Jackson. You got Manny Pacquiao. Well, it's just so many. Then you got Maidana, and you got the gloves. You know, you got domestic abuse. You can't read going on. Like, what is going on in this man's life? And people are not looking at this stuff. People are not remembering, as I refer to, that he cracked last year. No, not last year. In May, when he went on that radio show with Big Tigger the day of the weigh-in. And he just started bitching about Miss Jackson. You know, like, listen. I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot me. But I say this. I'm going to be here live, of course. And what I'm going to do is, right now, I'm going to switch up the tone a little bit. Because I got to talk about this Danny Garcia situation. Now, I did a video earlier. Now, if you don't know, there was supposed to be a purse bid today for Danny Garcia versus HBO Top Ranks Victor Postol. But what happened was the purse bid was postponed until the beginning of October. The reasons why the purse bid was postponed, it's rumored to be because Rock Nation is like, yo, we're going to show up to every single purse bid and outbid everybody because they're trying. Let me fix the camera. Rock Nation is trying to force their way into the sport. So the word on the curb is Al Heyman, thank you, by the way, he wants Jay-Z and Rock Nation nowhere near the sport. Now, if you look at the strategy of Rock Nation, it's pretty smart. It's like, you know, you got to, like with any startup business, you know, you got to take a loss at the beginning. But what do you see? What you see is, he's like, okay, well, we're going to overbid on all these fights just to get our foot into the door. And they got that income to, you know, to use. And, you know, it would work for them in the long run because what if they did get the Peter Quillin fight? And then the purse bid with Danny Garcia. That would be crazy. That's a hell of a way to, you know, like start off. And then, you know, Jay-Z got ties with the Barclays Center. Peter Quillen is from Brooklyn, and you ask yourself, why would you walk away from $1.4 million? Marcos Maidana made 1.5 against Mayweather in the last fight. Saul Canelo Alvarez made 1.5. Iris Lindy Laura made $1 million, for crying out loud. And you walk away from 1.4 million. But like I said, Al Heyman like a billionaire anyway, or he got like a credit card with like a billion, like with a billionaire limit, because that 1.4 million ain't shit to him. He probably just said, okay, here, listen, I don't want to go through that bullshit, until we get this Pacquiao fight over. I want you just to take this 1.4, and then I'm gonna overpay you a little bit when you fight Danny Jacobs. You know what I see? I see some old crazy shit like him getting $2 million to fight Danny Jacobs or some shit like that, or getting like 1.4 million for that, knowing that he probably got some extra money somewhere else. Because I don't care who you are, my manager or not, this is history you're messing around with. What if Peter Quillen get knocked out by Danny Jacobs? What if something happened, God forbid, he get injured and never able to fight again? You gave up your title, homie. Like, where's your pride? Where's your dignity? Now, the Danny Garcia situation is different because Danny Garcia can't make weight. But Danny Garcia got so many problems, that he's going to have to fight these people at a catch weight over 140 if he can't make the weight. People were calling for Lamont Peterson. They were only calling for Lamont Peterson because Lamont Peterson was on the same card. People didn't want to see that fight. They just want to see Danny Garcia unify the titles. But when it comes to Mauricio Herrera, that's something he can't get away from. That's just like Floyd Mayweather had to fight Marcos Maidana, but it was clear that Danny Garcia got the gift of the judges that night. When it comes to Lucas Matisse is just like, I'll fight him for a belt or no belt. And then they're like, what about Adrian Broner? And he's like, I'll fight Danny Garcia for a belt or no belt. Then on the other end, you got, it seems like Adrian Broner taking shots. If you listen to his post-fight interview with Jim Gray after a Mayweather fight, it seems like he's taking shots at at Danny Garcia, but he wants Matisse. It's a crazy situation. And here's something else. You even got Freddie Roach, who's just had Danny Garcia's name all in his mouth for the last, I would say, 6 months. Well, he really wanted Pacquiao to fight him. But the problem that presents is, well, if Danny Garcia is an Al Heyman fighter, he's fighting with Golden Boy Showtime, then why the fuck can't he fight Floyd Mayweather? So, fans are not going to allow that. It'll be a good fight. We will want to see it, but what I'm saying is it will raise so many other questions. And it'll make Floyd look even more suspect. Because it's like, okay, well, the fights can be made. It's not the networks now. But since we're talking about that, and I'm going to be wrapping this up soon, Pacquiao versus Mayweather, I think it's happening. I said this in previous videos. What I think is that Mayweather went to Asia for the holiday season vacation. Around that time also, there was rumors, and I've even heard from some people that I know in the Philippines that said there was a secret meeting in the winter of 2013. So all that relied on was Manny Pacquiao getting through Timothy Bradley. That's all that relied on. Floyd Mayweather, he was supposed to just go through Marcos Maidana, but you had Floyd Sr., Roger Mayweather, Sam Watson, Manny Pacquiao himself, Bob Arum once again slandering Floyd Mayweather's name. You got a photo with a TMT vehicle outside of a top-ranked gym. Now, you can say whatever you want about it. You can say this is all just coincidence, but this is the way I feel. If the fight was to happen in May of 2015, they're not going to be talking about, okay, yeah, we're openly negotiating, because they're not dumb. They're not going to put the fans through that, because anything can happen where the fight's off and then they're going to look like dickheads. So I'm thinking that if they're negotiating, we're not going to know until, it's time to start marketing the fight in like January.
Oh, so
so as it stands right now, people say, man, hey, why ain't no real rumors? Why ain't nobody confirmed nothing yet? Because look at everything that's been happening. How many times fans and people in the media has got their hopes up and nothing materialized. So they're gonna play this thing real close. you know, until it's time to start marketing the fight. And it's just like, you know, it's simply put, Manny Pacquiao has to get through Chris Algieri. They wanted Marquez, but once Marquez was like, I don't want, no way. Give me $22 million. Might as well say, give me $100 million. You know Bob Arum giving him no fucking $20 million. I don't care if he knocked Pacquiao out or not. You know, pricing yourself out is a form of ducking when you know that you're not going to get that money. You know there's a good chance you're not going to get that money. But I don't even blame Marquez really that much. I blame Nacho. Nacho was just like, no, you're not leaving alone. You're not going in there. He's going to beat your ass. Like, no, you don't want to get in there with that aggressiveness. Anyway.
Yeah, I agree. He really shouldn't have to fight him.
I mean, they fought 4 times already, and there was controversy about all the cards, and then he ended it. He knocked him out.
Yeah.
I would like to see it again, but I don't think people should be calling him a duck for not wanting to fight him again.
Yeah, but it's the way he's going about it, because he's saying he's saying the only reason why he's still fighting is to get a championship in the 147-pound division. Remember, he's fought Pacquiao 2 times above 140, Timothy Bradley above 140, Mike Alvarado above 140, and you know he has not had a title in that division. So Bob Arum pulled some slick shit. He's like, okay, you're gonna fight Alvarado, and then Bob Arum had him pulled with the WBO. WBO made Marquez versus Alvarado a #1 contenders fight for Pacquiao's belt. So that's like, well, you want a belt? Here you go. And then you got Marquez showing up, you know, to Sean Porter versus Kell Brook. I would think that it would work in his favor for him to fight Kell Brook since there's no politics involved. But yet, if you look at it, you think, well, the UK has those crazy drug tests. You know, their drug testing is way better than the States. And you know, if he goes over there and fights over there, I don't think he's gonna get away. I don't think he's gonna get away with all that acne and all that, whatever you calling it. I'm just saying. You know, because see, people say, well, he pissing clean. That's because he's drinking it and then putting it back in.
If he were to fight, if Marquez and Brook were to fight, I think the fight would be somewhere over here, because Marquez would be the bigger draw. He'd be able to demand that, even though Brook is the champion.
But over there,
yeah.
Okay, Marquez would be a big draw over here, but over there, Kell Brook Marquez will go into a stadium. You know, because the UK, they're like, you know, Marquez is coming over there. That's going into a stadium. You know, that's I see over 20,000 easy. I see them throwing it up in Wembley easy, because when does a Mexican fighter of the caliber of Marquez ever go to the UK for anything? So I see that being highly profitable easy. But you know, we don't know what Marquez is going to do. He's supposed to be returning this winter against we don't even know who. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Diego Chavez, but Timothy Bradley linked to Diego Chavez. We know that Marquez ain't fighting no Provodnikov. He'll fight Alvarado, who Provodnikov beat in a prior fight, but they won't fight Provodnikov. You know, that guy just doesn't make any sense to me. Something just don't sit right with him, man. Something just don't sit right.
I mean, I feel that Marquez should fight a newcomer like Thurman, or you know, somebody like that. You know.
Amir Khan.
That's what I'm thinking.
Amir Khan talked about it on what is it? Be Real TV. I forgot the name of his channel. He covers boxing too. He gets interviews. And what Amir Khan said in that interview is that he can't fight Marquez because of politics. But here's where Amir Khan contradicts himself, because he says he reached out to Manny Pacquiao, and it's like, I'm not stupid. Like, Al Heyman is not negotiating with no Bob Arum. You know, so why would you say some shit like that? So, you know, I honestly, since he's fighting under Top Rank or with Top Rank right now, and especially he's fighting on HBO, I don't see Marquez fighting any of those fighters. And it's a shame boxing politics is fucking it up so much, because there's so many good fights Marquez can fight. You can put Marquez against Guerrero, that's big money. Put Marquez against Khan, that's big money. Put him against Devin Alexander, that's big money. Sean Porter, big money. You know, throw him in there against Danny Garcia, Lucas Matisse. What? That's crazy. Those are crazy fights. Marquez gonna fight till he's 45, and be eaten. But boxing politics, there's not enough people in the top ranked stable at that division. Let's talk about who it is. We got, and I'm going to talk about Banner Promotions and Top Rank. You got Ruslan Provodnikov, you got Thomas Delorme, you got Chris Algieri, Diego Chavez, Timothy Bradley, Juan Manuel Marquez, Ruslan Provodnikov, I probably said his name, Brandon Rios, Manny Pacquiao, Mike Alvarado, and I'm probably missing like a couple more.
You see, when you're naming that,
what?
Seems like Bob Arum needs to be the one trying to mend the fences and not Oscar, because he needs Heyman. Heyman doesn't really need him.
Yeah, well,
because
Oscar and Heyman just met recently. I believe it was today or yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Oscar and Heyman met. Oscar and Arum met yesterday. So it's crazy because in an interview, I was just reading on Boxing Scene in an interview, Oscar De La Hoya says he has no problem with Bob Arum, but it's somebody else in Top Rank he has a problem with. But see, something is brewing because Bob Arum and Oscar, remember, Oscar is the golden boy. So whatever when it comes to Eric Gomez or Al Heyman and all of them, okay, I understand all that, but he is the golden boy. So you have the golden boy of Golden Boy Promotions going to meet with Top Rank. So that does mean something. They're working on something. Now, as far as Canelo versus Cotto is concerned, that's not happening in May of 2015. It's not happening in May of 2015, and if it did, whoever Mayweather's fighting is going to double whatever that pay-per-view does. Cotto, don't get me wrong, putting those two together would be good. I would say 800, maybe a million buys, but
Cotto, it's hard to tell now with how the numbers been going down.
Yeah, Cotto doesn't have really doesn't have the draw that he used to have realistically. As far as carrying a pay-per-view by himself as him being the A side. He doesn't, and they keep throwing him in Madison Square Garden. Okay, yeah, that's good, but he doesn't really have like that large following, right now as when it was when he was coming up through the ranks. So, I don't know. But as far as tomorrow's concerned, see, I'm wondering what are people going to do? How are people going to feel when it comes to if Mayweather loses? There's going to be some people. It's going to be crazy.
Just like how when Michael Jackson died, the internet's going to shut down. You're not going to be able to go on Twitter, YouTube, nothing.
Yeah, the shit's going to crash. Twitter's going to crash. And people don't understand the magnitude of if a guy like Mayweather loses. Yeah, we talk about him making $30 million and all that. If he gets defeated, what? It's going to be on papers, that big-ass 47-1. Right on the front page. It's going to have his face. If he gets knocked out, it's going to be close-ups of his face. The photos, my God. He's going to have to go into hiding. I wouldn't be surprised if Al Heyman sends Adrian Broner down the aisle with a kendo stick or a chair. And then Al Heyman runs down, and they be like, "That's Al Heyman. What's he doing here? My God!"
Sound like some WWE stuff.
Goes, "Ring the bell, ding, 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 ding," and he take the belt. He take one of the belts. He just smack Robert Garcia with it, and they just get. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't see Mayweather taking a loss and just sitting there and staying in the ring and giving an interview to Jim Gray. I see somewhat like Broner. Almost like the NWO, they're going to be throwing beer and everything in the ring. They're going to get rowdy up in there. It's going to be riots in the streets. It's going to purge. It's going to be the purge tomorrow, yo. If Mayweather loses, people going to purge. I'm dead serious, yo. It's going to be looting. They probably it's going to be Devil's Night in Vegas. They're going to be burning shit down. Mayweather Gym is going to explode. No, I'm sorry. I'm just saying it's going to explode with nobody in it. Nobody's going to be in the building. Okay, figure of speech. But yeah, that should be real. People don't think about that. Just like in the Philippines when Manny Pacquiao got knocked out, the people were sitting there crying. You got thousands of people looking like, ah! They was sitting there for I remember I was watching a video and they was watching the fight. And then they were sitting there watching like, yeah. And then once he got knocked out, they just was like, all their faces just looked the same, and he just paused. And they just started screaming. I'm talking about, it was this eerie ass silence among like 10,000 people. And it just was like, ah, and everybody just started snapping the fuck out. You know, people don't think about that. Like Mayweather having to give interviews, marketability about like, well, I took that one defeat. And imagine if it's by knockout.
None of that, man.
How do you clean it up if it's by knockout? How do you clean it up? If it's by KO, you can't. You can't clean it up. You know, and I'm wondering, like, where will he go from there? Now we're talking about what if Marcos? Now, of course, if Marcos Maidana lose, of course, Marcos Maidana is going to be A-side in a lot of fights he fights. Marcos Maidana is already ranked right now to defeat a lot of. God damn it. I apologize, but it is 11. I will be here tomorrow. T Street Controversy Live. Oh, I'm going to send the invite for Google Hangout about 2 hours before. That shit's going to run the smoothest it ever ran tomorrow. Simple as that. T Street Controversy Live.